said, you know Will raped me. You know Diddy made me suck his penis. You know what's going on. You know Charlie made me suck. Well, I'm going to give you a chapter from the book since I owed you something.
Okay.
In the book, in one of the chapters, it talk about mentorship. So I grabbed my husband. I said, listen, I don't know. I didn't know what happened. Nothing. I was just asked to come.
Is this true?
Yeah. No. I'm gonna let you about to see if it's true from the paperwork. Oh, we telling something that got paper. Will admitted to me that he had sex with Briar Gray, but it was consensual.
He's surrounded by a whole lot of strength. He's surrounded by a whole lot of love. And all he has to do is add discipline. And my man Charlie Mack. So Charlie was with me every step of the way. First out the limo. So Charlie has been with me, 30 years coming up in the business. So, he's surrounded by a whole lot of strength. He's surrounded by a whole lot of love. And all he has to do is add discipline, and he's gonna be all right.
It's like Uncle Will, Who is best to give you advice? And it's Will Smith, and I'm getting so much good advice. I got my first acting role, Empire, and it's changing my life. And it's like, I'm listening from the greatest, and it's like making me...
Say what now? Because the name that keeps popping up in the online chatter is Bilal, someone the internet says was around Will Smith's circle years back. And he's making some of the boldest, most boundary-crossing accusations you can throw at a mega celebrity. The way it's being framed online, Bilal claims Will had the access and influence to pull people close and then crossed lines behind the scenes. But to be clear, these are allegations, not confirmed facts. And the internet is running with them like they're gospel.
Uncle Will, Who is best to give you advice? And it's Will Smith, and I'm getting so much good.
Bilal also tries to tie all of this to Briar Gray, basically suggesting that whatever allegedly went down back then helps explain why Briar's life later looked like it went off the rails, with Briar eventually appearing in adult content online. Again, that connection is Bilal's claim, and it's not something proven in public records. And the mess doesn't stop there.
A lot of stuff is about to come out about Will, Jada, and Charlie Mack. It is going to be unbelievable.
Bilal alleges that once he started speaking out, Jada Pinkett Smith was furious, and that pressure came down fast. He talks about intimidation and threats, and he frames it like things escalated into legal drama rather than just tea for clicks.
Bisexual, they do weird things in their house, and young men have left their house screaming to get away from them in their mentorship. Meek Mills, Briar Gray, left that house screaming. August the only one that stayed, and I guess he was really sick. He needed a doll.
What really lit the match is that Bilal didn't just hint around, he went direct in a heated interview on Tasha K's show, saying he witnessed an inappropriate situation involving Will Smith and actor Dwayne Martin in a private setting.
Secret in Hollywood that Jada hates me because I have a strong relationship with Will and I do my own thing.
Why don't she hate Dwayne?
I can't answer that question.
Why don't she hate Dwayne Martin?
Well, she's gonna love anybody that treats her like she's a god, right? When you're a narcissist and a sociopath like she is, and I'll get it.
Even without repeating anything explicit, you can see why the internet flipped it into clips, reaction videos, and non-stop commentary the second it hit the timeline. Bilal's side says the blowback came fast, like immediate. He alleges that within hours of the interview spreading, legal threats started flying, and people were pressuring him to stop talking. He also claims Jada accused him of trying to extort her and Will before he ever went public, basically painting him like he was just chasing a payout.
When you lose your man card, that's the only thing I can think of. You lose your damn man card.
What is that? What do you mean by that?
You give up your ability, your right to being a man. A man don't take it, a man gives it. So when you give up that man card, you don't get that back.
Are you saying what I think you're saying?
No, I'm saying what I'm saying. You don't get that back. You come into this world as a man one time. You give up that right for anything, for fear of being hurt, fear of somebody doing something, for wanting to gain something. When you give up that man card right, you lose some spiritual energy that it's always been pushing through. Like if a woman gives up her womanly right, but when you give up your manhood, I've never seen somebody recover from it. That was all the people that went to the puffy parties. That was all the people that did all those things thinking that there was never going to be a consequence for what they were doing. Got punked out and picked out by some greater desire. You shouldn't have a greater desire than being a man.
And that's where the whole story split in real time. Because one side said, he's lying and got caught, while the other side said, nah, they're trying to scare him into silence. But here's what made it even messier. Bilal didn't fold, he doubled down. He went back on Tasha K's show for a part 2, and his energy was even more intense, more confrontational, and way more come see me than before.
Door to Dwayne's dressing room, and that's when I see Dwayne and having anal sex with Will.
Let me process that for a second.
There was a couch, and Will was bent over on the couch, and Dwayne was standing up on him. Murder, like murder. It was murder in there.
He called Jada out publicly, dared the legal pressure to keep coming, and implied that if they wanted a real court fight, he was ready to go there. That alone had people online like, wait, who talks like this if they think a lawsuit is really on the way? Because usually the moment attorneys pop up, people get quiet. They delete posts, they backtrack, they start saying, I never said that, and suddenly it's all misunderstood. Bilal did the total opposite. He kept showing up, kept talking, and kept escalating like he had nothing to lose.
We put out the interview. All we put out was a clip that went ultra viral. Okay?
Yeah.
Everybody in the world got this clip. It was trending for days on Twitter. Okay? Before the interview comes out, what shocked me is Jada is doing her book promotional for Worthy.
Yes.
She goes to the Breakfast Club and she sits down and they ask her about you, but they can't not ask. Like, it's so huge.
Right.
And to my surprise, she ain't.
Now, none of that proves he's telling the truth. These are still allegations, not confirmed facts. But it does explain why so many people online stopped treating it like just another rumor loop and started acting like something bigger could be going on, and he still wasn't done.
You know that the things that you said were untrue. Let's get into a little bit more of it. Jada runs Will. Period. Me and her at war. I'm gonna put Will to the side. Will is to the side. Me and Jada, I will say this because I know you're watching. I know Karen Tense is watching.
Who's Karen Tense?
That is her PR person for years.
Okay.
Right? I know they're watching. Jada, you're a bald head liar and you're a drug addict, right?
Oh, God.
You told the world that you were going to sue me.
Ooh.
As of yet, and you said you're going to do it swift. It's been over 2 weeks. So Jada, I'm giving you 2 more weeks to sue me. If you don't sue me, this is what's going to happen. All the parties, right? And the men that you hit with dildos, I'm naming names, right? All the salacious stuff that you have done and hurt other people, I'm naming names. You assassinate my character. You say I extort you. Well, extortion is criminal. Like, I would be in jail right now if I tried to
Bilal later popped up on another podcast called Make It Make Sense. And that's where he pushed the narrative even further, basically trying to frame Will as a Diddy Jr.
Short. When I'm in Chicago, this guy's acting erratic. Like, I mean, crazy. He's getting stopped by the cops. There's male prostitutes involved. There's mental illness involved. And I'm really trying to see what happened to this guy. And one day he said, you know what happened. You know that Will R-worded me, or however y'all kind of say it on YouTube. You know that Diddy assaulted me, and you know Charlie Mack made me suck his private part, right? And I'm like, whoa, this was a full admittance. And he's going, and I'm like, I didn't know anything. He's in the corner, balled up, snot, so much.
Type figure. His words and his angle not proven reality. Bilal accuses Will of allegedly using mentorship as bait, claiming the pitch to young adults was opportunity, guidance, connections, the whole Hollywood dream package. But he claims that behind the curtain, some people were allegedly pressured into inappropriate situations, while their careers didn't move the way they were promised.
Sweating and pain, that blood is coming from his nose, right? And this is me and him in a conversation. And he was like, please don't tell him. Please don't tell him, right? Will admitted to me that he had sex with Briar Gray, but it was consensual, right? So I'm like, okay, so now it's starting to make sense, because I would have never believed that the way this guy's acting, something had to happen. So now, Will told me, and this is going to be in paperwork and everything, right? So when Will told me that he did have sexual intercourse with Briar, he said Briar did ask him to stop. Will said he completed the act, then stopped. Right then and there, when a person say stop, that means stop. Period. So I do believe that Will Smith assaulted Briar Gray. Charlie Mack and Will gets a lawyer for Briar, and they try to get me under NDA. I tell Will, I'm not signing. I don't even have an NDA with you. How am I getting an NDA with him? You understand what I'm saying? So I hire a lawyer, right? Mm-hmm. When I hire the lawyer, he comes back and say, listen, this is the best I can do. He said, I'm going to have y'all do a mutual NDA, meaning that Briar can't tell people that you know that Will and Diddy actually assaulted him. And I want to say the R word, but I know we're on YouTube. Then you can't say nothing about him. So I said, okay, well, as long as he stopped telling people that I know what Will and Diddy did to him. You understand what I'm saying? Period. That was the problem. So there's legal paperwork, and it's all going to be, and you got to follow this case.
He also alleges that once someone was no longer useful, they were discarded. And he even implies there was a wider pattern involving introductions to other powerful industry figures. Again, that's Bilal's claim. And it's not verified just because it's loud online, but you can see exactly why the internet grabbed this and ran with it, because it taps into that Hollywood pipeline storyline people already swear is real. Then Bilal goes even further and claims Will admitted to wrongdoing involving Briar Gray. And he hints there's documentation that backs up serious misconduct claims. And that's the part that makes people sit up straight. Because the second someone says paperwork exists, the vibe changes instantly. Folks stop treating it like gossip and start demanding receipts, timelines, and proof like it's a courtroom, not a comment section. And since Briar Gray's name has already been tied to years of online chatter, Bilal's allegations basically lit up a fire that was already burning. For a long time, people have claimed Briar was pulled into certain circles under the promise of mentorship, with online rumors dragging both Will and Diddy into that career guidance narrative. And to make it even messier, the story being pushed online alleges Briar's mother, Andrea, knew about the connections, or even approved access.
Of the hit show Empire. Tonight, we're seeing hours of new video from his July arrest that ended with his wife flagging down police and telling them the actor had assaulted her for hours inside their Goodyear home. The bizarre jailhouse interview lasting for 2 hours as they try to piece together a chaotic...
The way people tell it, back when Briar was fresh off Empire and trying to grow both acting and music, he was in the perfect spot to be guided by bigger forces.
About Bashir's mom, I'ma kick you in your pussy and then I'ma go to work North Philly style. Kill and Charlie. You happy now? He's a gay star. Are you happy now, Andy? For a book that didn't sell. I hope that new husband of yours leaves you. And maybe it's time you tell your son why his father is really in jail, his biological father, for all of his life and what you had to do with it. You can see that came to me and begged me for my help. I told her to get the away from Charlie. I did everything that I could do to get Briar, to help her get Briar out of California into Chicago State to be ready for filming. She knew what Will did to him. because of Charlie, see? And Charlie had promised her all kinds of things. And all she had to do was pretend to be a broken down single mom who worked her way up through the ghetto and raised a superstar for television, when the truth is, she wasn't nothing but a drug dealer's whore. That's all she ever was. She went from dealer to drug dealer, and then she snitched on whoever she needed to snitch on until she could get to the bigger bag, until she got with Larry Lair, my friend who raised Bashir in $1 million home. Your whole book is lies, Andy. And I hope anybody that bought it asks for a refund and demands it comes out of your pocket every time they see your son's gay.
The rumor claims his former manager, Charlie Mack, allegedly had the green light from Andrea to connect Briar with Will and Diddy for mentorship. And from the outside, you can see why that would sound tempting. Two powerful names, two huge lanes, music and acting. It looks like the fastest route to the next level. And the internet loves adding this detail too. They say Briar seemed genuinely excited back then, like he believed those connections would change everything. And people point to older interviews where they claim you can hear the optimism in his voice. But then the narrative flips hard. Because the same accounts pushing these claims also point to Briar's later public struggles, including substance issues, and eventually showing up in adult material online. And they try to frame it like a harsh before and after story. They present it as the promise was success, the pitch was mentorship, but the outcome was a crash. And that framing is exactly why this keeps resurfacing, even when nothing is officially verified. And this is where it gets toxic online. Because once people decide a storyline makes sense, they start treating every messy chapter in someone's life like it's automatic proof. That's exactly why this keeps resurfacing over and over again. Bilal's allegations didn't create the rumors around Briar. They basically gave the old chatter a new headline, a fresh villain, and a louder megaphone. And once that happens, the internet doesn't just talk, it builds a whole case in the comments. Then Jaguar Wright jumps right into the middle of it and basically says, mentorship? Yeah, she's not buying that framing at all.
Let him out so he'll feel too embarrassed to file his lawsuit against Diddy for what Will and Diddy did to him. With Jaden and Justin present, that tape exists.
Okay.
I really hope none of that baby oil was used on those kids. That would just be in bad taste. Baby oil on babies.
You can't say that the flavor camp was sponsored by Johnson & Johnson. You just come on. Come on.
Starting to sound that way, ain't it?
No.
All that talent, and she let Charlie tune that boy up on knowing that he was bipolar and had ADHD. What kind of mother would do that to her son? Turn him into a prostitute so you could pretend to be something more than what you are, which is nothing more than a Philly whore. You're a whore. You're a bigger whore than they're making your son out to be, that's for sure. Because he didn't have no choice. You was down by all. I'm sorry. The Bashir conversation for me is not easy. Because I came to Bilal and I asked Bilal to help me save the kids, and all he was worried about was his fucking book.
Oh yeah, no, definitely.
Nobody care about these kids. Don't nobody care about these kids.
According to Jaguar, the last thing Will was offering Briar was real guidance. She paints it like mentorship was just a label people use to make something look clean from the outside. And this is where the internet starts stacking timelines like detectives. When people talk about Briar's life shifting after those alleged connections, they don't just point to rumors. They point to his public legal trouble and say, look how fast it all fell apart.
because he was like, Charlie Mack is not going to be able to be there because him and Charlie had something else going on. I robbing Chicago for Empire. It's a damn mess. It's no other way to put it. This dude is.
There's that widely discussed 2022 situation where Briar was arrested and later faced serious legal consequences tied to an alleged incident involving a woman. And yes, that part is public, but people online still twist it into whatever narrative they want. And that wasn't even the first time his personal life hit headlines. Back in 2020, there were reports around his marriage too, with claims that his wife went to get help and police got involved. And the internet has never let that go. Then the visuals took it to another level. When mugshots hit the timeline, people couldn't believe how different he looked compared to the Empire era. And the comment sections did what they always do. They turned it into a brutal before and after story, like his downfall was the missing puzzle piece that proves everything else. And Jaguar didn't stop at the general talk either.
That your husband was doing things to boys and did stuff to your son and you ain't do shit about it. Bilal told me everything.
They're good friend who.
Bilal told me. Jada. He told me that you knew Will was f***ing your child. Yes, he did. Wonder why he left that out of his Tasha K interview.
Yeah, in that interview, he said a lot. He said a lot.
He said everything but the thing that was important. That he know that Will Smith, Jaden, he Bashir and he.
She came back around that same time with more allegations, claiming Briar's mother, Andrea Mayberry, wasn't just aware of this so-called mentorship setup, but allegedly approved it. And she repeated the rumor that Briar's former manager, Charlie Mack, helped facilitate those connections. That's the claim, not a proven fact, but you already know why it spreads fast, because it flips the story from bad choices to somebody handed him over. And that's the kind of angle that makes people furious and keeps the internet locked in.
Secret in Hollywood that Jada hates me because I have a strong relationship with Will and I do my own thing.
Why don't she hate Dwayne?
I can't answer that question.
Why don't she hate Dwayne Martin?
Well, she's gonna love anybody that treats her like she's a god, right? When you're a narcissist and a sociopath like she is, and I'll get into that, you want to be worse.
Jaguar also claimed that after Cassie's lawsuit put a spotlight on Diddy, Briar was allegedly talking to lawyers about taking action too, possibly against both Will and Diddy, but then allegedly got scared off. And whether people believe it or not, that's the type of statement that keeps this whole mess trending every time someone drags the names back up. She frames it as intimidation, like somebody warned him to back off for his own safety. And that's the vibe she keeps pushing online. And yeah, Jaguar takes it even further. She's floated a rumor about a supposed private recording tied to multiple high-profile names, including Justin Bieber and Jaden Smith, with Will, Diddy, and Briar all being dragged into the same storyline. But none of that is publicly verified, so it stays in the rumor lane no matter how loud it gets. Now, when people try to match Jaguar's lawsuit talk to something concrete, they start throwing around big civil case numbers. You'll see figures like $50 million tossed in comment sections like it's a fact. A lot of that seems to come from a blind item, hinting a male accuser could step forward against an A-list mogul. And of course, the internet instantly starts connecting dots to Diddy, then pulling Will into the same convo, especially with Bilal still claiming he has receipts. Bilal has claimed Briar told him serious allegations involving Will, and he also suggests Diddy fits the same pattern. He doesn't frame it like they were friends, he frames it like coercion and misconduct. Those are his claims, not proof. But once that language hits the timeline, people start treating every rumor like evidence. And then the conversation swerves into the Smith family real quick. There have been rumors for a while that Will is controlling behind the scenes, especially with his kids. And Jaguar adds her own version by claiming Jaden left Will's home when he was younger because he couldn't take it anymore. Again, that's an allegation, not a confirmed fact. Jaguar also says Bilal was the one feeding her info in the first place, which conveniently turns Bilal into the source and Jaguar into the megaphone. And that's why this whole thing keeps exploding every time the names pop back up. And Bilal didn't just keep the heat on Will. He jumped back on Tasha K again and aimed a lot more of his fire at Jada. He went at her publicly with extreme language and accused her of allegedly knowing what was going on and doing nothing to stop it. That's how he frames it, and you already know why that angle gets people fighting. Because once you shift the story into who enabled what, the debates get ugly fast, and everybody starts picking sides like it's a courtroom and a reality show at the same time. Then, the legal pressure comes back, but this time with actual paperwork involved. Bilal has filed a lawsuit against Jada, claiming she threatened him after he refused to be silenced. Those are his allegations, and they're being used online as the see it's serious moment. In his claims, he describes a confrontation at the Regency Calabasas Commons in September 2021, where he alleges she warned him that if he kept speaking on her personal business, he could end up harmed. He also alleges she pushed him to sign a non-disclosure agreement, and that after this, he started receiving threats from people he connects to Will and Jada's circle. And once that hit the internet, the reactions were exactly what you'd expect. Some people repeated Jaguar's claims, saying young men allegedly ran out of the Smiths' home and that certain people kept their distance. Again, that's online chatter, not verified fact. Others focused on Bilal's storytelling, saying the way he described Briar sounded like fear, like someone spooked by powerful names and big connections. And they argue that if any part of that is true, it could help explain why Briar later spiraled the way he did. Now here's the real question. What do you think? Do you believe this is a real situation with real smoke behind it? Or is it just a rumor machine spinning out of control? And do you think Briar will ever speak directly and give his own version of what really happened? Drop your take in the comments, and if you want the next chapter, tap the next video on screen.